Hi everybody. Hi. Hello, my name is Chineye Chukai Pere and I've come again to share my IBC stories with you guys. How are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and thanks to new people coming over to spend time with me. Yeah, so let us go to the time. When we arrived the US, my brother, who was supposed to be our host, was in Nigeria for December for Christmas. And truly, he actually thought we were gonna like come in with him. But then when we explained to him that we wanted to save some money by coming in before my last baby then turned turned 2. So he said, okay, let's go. We decided and we decided we're going to like float around before he gets back. So we decided to stay with his cousins. So his first cousin we stayed with, we spent Christmas with him. And probably on the 30th of December of that year, we moved over to his other cousin's place, who we stayed in their house until my brother came back from Nigeria in February, actually. So when we were in Auntie's place, my husband's cousin's place, they really wanted us to settle in that town. Truly speaking, if you ask me, I would have settled there if we came in there in the summer. But we came into Indiana in the thick of winter. Like I told you guys in the former video, I was hibernating, meaning that I couldn't keep my eyes open. I just could not. No matter how I tried. If I was awake, I still felt like I was sleeping. The slightest chance I had, I would run under the thick blankets they gave us. Still, it wasn't enough. So one day, Auntie said, hey, let's go and look for an apartment for you guys. I said, okay, wait, let me speak with my husband. I said to my husband, I'm not sure I will be able to survive in this kind of place. So saying to go and look for apartment, my head is not working. Like I'm not awake. So even if my eyes are open, my brain is sleeping. Living in an apartment means that I have to get a job, or we have to get a job, and I cannot function. Is there no place that is a little bit close to the weather we had in Niger? So that was when I told him, please, that place where my brother were supposed to stay in, and this place, which one is colder, which one is hotter? He said, okay. My brother lived in Atlanta then. He said, oh, Atlanta is way warmer than this place. Okay, that's where we're living. Just know how you will tell your sister that there is no how I can live in this kind of place because I can't function. She has so many dreams for us because in Nigeria I was a math teacher, and she was like, yeah, our pastor is going to help you find a job. You can even teach math in the prison. You already have a job. It was like she was so sure I could get a job, right? But I'm like, yeah, I have to be awake, right? To be able to even teach anywhere, to be able to even do any form of job. You can imagine how it would be getting a job and then I'm sleeping there all day long. So she didn't understand. And then I looked, I said, okay, since she has a family and her kids, and we have a pretty large family, and we're all, making them very uncomfortable, squeezing into their homes and all that. It would be better for us to go and stay with my brother, who was still a bachelor, and he had a big house that could accommodate us. So I said, okay, since it would be also good to stay somewhere, feel out how, we will survive working before we get our own place. So the best decision for us was to stay with my brother. And then we went to my brother's place, and it was very it was better than, the weather was way, way better. Nothing close. It was still cold, but it was manageable. It was not like, how Hamatan is in Niger for us. That was how it was when we got to Atlanta. So there was no snow. Yeah, it was like a weather we could understand, and the hibernation left me. I was fine. So my children started school there. So one of the stories I want to share today was one of the first homeworks that they gave my children. One of the first homework, when we got there, actually, because my children were really attending like the best school in Aba. I can't help it. Early Learning International was one of the best schools by the time we were living there. So by the time we came to the US, my children were ahead of their classmates in classwork. That's just how it was. So they gave them an assignment, and the assignment was to make words out of, how that game we play in Nigeria, that they will give you like a long word and ask you how many words you can make out of that word. So I suspect that the word they gave her that day was association. Okay. So I was helping her to make the words. You know that one of the words you can make from association is ass, A-S-S. I started debating with myself. By then I didn't understand when people talk about being vulgar, words you should use, words that are vulgar, words that are not. In Nigeria, we don't know, we don't care. Not like we don't care. That's not what our brain process was thinking about. Like using the words, nigger, fuck you, all those. I'm sorry, I don't want to go using those words. But when we came, they gave me that assignment. I was debating. In my mind, I'm like, hey, ass in English means what? A donkey, right? So I said, if I don't put ass here, my daughter, they will dock her 1 point. I don't know how they are grading, how they were going to grade that work. So if I know that there's a word there and I don't put it, that means I'm shorting this girl, her points. So guess what? I put in that word there for her. And I actually went to the dictionary and showed her the meaning of the word. When the teacher graded it, she now used a sticker and covered up the complete word. I was like, wow, okay, that was a sign to me telling me that I shouldn't have mentioned that word. But how possible could it be? Is it still not an English word? Okay, that was one of it. So another homework I actually remembered I did with them was, it was supposed to be Earth Day. Earth Day. My husband was at work. My brother was traveled for work, So I was home. Earth Day, coming from Nigeria. We didn't used to do Earth Day. Oh, now I'm wondering, what can we actually do? Your sister, I didn't know. Like we were supposed to make a craft, something, Earth Day. I finished thinking, what do I do? What do I do? And now I said, and I couldn't drive by then. I didn't have a driver's license. So I now scouted around the house, started looking for what to use to make a craft that my daughter could, turn in for work. Then I found this brown paper bag, all these lunch bags, okay? Let me just find something that looks like that bag. Just give me a second, okay? I'll show you something that looks like the bag that I used, but it may not be the same color. All right, I found a bag that looked like this, but maybe smaller, but brown paper bag, like wrapping paper that we use at home to wrap books, brown paper. So I used the bag. I started making, I got some straws and I took out this kind of handle, and now I use the straws to decorate the handle. I found like maybe cardboard or colored paper all over somewhere in the house. I started making like designs on the bag, and that was it. The next I told my daughter, take this now and go to school. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what else to do. And she took it and went to school, and they were like, whoa, that looked really nice and all that. Okay, that won't go. Then I discovered something. That time I had like It was only my first two kids that were going to school. The last two in Nigeria were already going to school, but in the US, they were not old enough to go to elementary school. So in the US, you have to be you have to be in kindergarten to go to school. My son was in pre-K. The third child was in pre-K, while the youngest one was in probably, daycare. He was still in daycare. Like back home, it's nursery school. All of them. Once my children reach a year and 4 months, I put them in school. There's one small nursery school behind my house. They start off there. Then when they turn 3, they now go to early learning. So my third child had already started early learning. On coming to the United States, he was home because we came in we came in not at the beginning of school year. We came in second term. So when we tried to get him into daycare, because there were some government daycares, right, for low-income people, because we were actually low-income, right? We didn't have a job in the United States. So when I went there, they were like, hey, the government spots are taken. Because here, unlike in Nigeria, I don't know how it's obtained now in Nigeria. When I was there, when you want to register your child, you begin to register probably during the holiday before school starts. That's when you go to register your child. But here, some people even register their children before the child is born in preschools, nursery school. So if you come, they'll tell you, oh, the spots are taken unless you want us to put you on the wait list. So those government spots that, that were free, I couldn't find any spots because it was already second term. And, they were like, hey, you have to do the paid store, the paid positions. No job. Not having a job, how can I pay for something that I can't afford? And people were telling me daycare is expensive here. I didn't understand what they were saying. They said daycare is expensive. It will be like you working and then you take the money they pay you from your work to just go and pay for daycare. So instead of you to waste that your money, waste your energy, work, still come home and take care of these same children, why not stay home and watch your kids? But my own, I was like, heck no, I can't stay home. There's no way I can stay home. It's not possible. So your sister woke up and started looking for work. Guess what? My husband already got a job. So he was working in a car dealership, So there was nobody to hold the kids. Can you imagine that? And we carried the children in the car. The two of them, because the first two were in elementary school already. The last two were home with me. So I had to take them. So I went to go and look for a job as a nursery school teacher. On getting there, the lunch they made that day in that nursery school was broccoli and maybe with cheese or something. I'm just guessing from the smell of what I was smelling there. Before that experience, I had never in my life seen broccoli. I had never in my life eaten broccoli. I had never in my life smelled broccoli. Oh my goodness, I couldn't stand that smell. I don't know. It was so foreign to me. It was so new. I started feeling nauseous. You know how you feel when you get, when a woman gets pregnant, when she's having that morning sickness. I felt that was why I was like, I can't be pregnant. It's not possible. How come I'm feeling so, nauseous? I felt like throwing up. And at that point, I didn't know how to excuse myself, because when I spoke to the teacher, the head person, she was talking to me as if, she saw me with the kids. So she thought that I came to have an inspection, to know if I would want to put my kids in their school. I had not even mentioned that I wanted to teach there. So she saw me as a prospect for the kids to start daycare with them. So she was showing me around. Oh my goodness. Beautiful nursery school. But I couldn't understand what I was smelling. She was just talking, I was nodding. Talking, nodding. Immediately she finished, I ran out of that building and took in air. I never went back there. But guess what? Now I'm a broccoli lover. Like any week that passes that I have not eaten broccoli, I've not started. I don't know, we started trying it and Small by small, our bodies got used to the taste, and that was it. So when I eat broccoli now, I'm like, how come I couldn't stand the taste then? And now it's practically one of my favorite things to eat. I couldn't understand that part, okay? So that was me. Then after a while, my husband and I decided, because his job at the car dealership, he was struggling there. He was thinking his, language barrier was a problem. Having an accent straight from Nigeria, selling cars. This is you. You know how we buy cars in Nigeria? We just look at the beauty of the car. Oh, this car is red. Oh, it's flashy. Oh, it's beautiful. It's still neat. Tantam. We're looking at tantam. We don't know, but here, this is a society where the people who come to purchase car even did their research more than you that is selling. And then they know the horsepower and everything, even the mechanic, everything they used to make the car, they know. So my husband was like, man, if we continue here, we're not going to eat. We're not going to eat. Why? Because you sell, you eat. Meaning, if you're able to convince somebody to buy, you're paid commission. So some days, the first day he sold the car, he came home, we rejoiced. I forgot. Okay, there's also another job he started first. I think that one was Kirby. He was selling vacuum cleaners. Man, that enthusiasm you used to come to America. You use that enthusiasm that you want to conquer the world. My husband was giving it his best. Some days he will come home so disappointed. He would tell us how the people he went to sell to, drove him out. He will come back dejected. Then when he makes sales, we'll dance. Then one day he said, Chine, I'm not sure that we can use this thing to eat. So why? Because we need something that the money has to come in regularly, not once in a while. Once in a while is if you're living with somebody, you can manage. But if you're paying for your own place, you cannot manage once in a while shopping. You just cannot manage it. So, my dear, that was how we decided. I started first. I met a lady at the church, and she was telling me, hey, that there's this Nigerian lady that owns a CNA school. CNA is a Certified Nursing Assistance Program. Nurse say Lisa. So I was excited, okay? So we signed up. But before then, in Nigeria, I was a math teacher. My husband was a banker. So, when we came, we actually thought it's direct transition. Me, I will get teaching job. My husband will get banking job, even with promotion higher than what we used to eat before. Who sighed? My husband, who had been a bank manager for about 12 to 14 years in Nigeria, came back here. The position that they could give him was what? Teller position. Hey, my husband looked at it and said, even said the teller position, he no even get. He just got interview opportunity. Okay? So, but, in that place, when we're living in that Atlanta, imagine looking for work. You just arrived, right? We haven't even reached 6 months that we came into the US. And then they're asking you for 5 years experience for a job you don't even have 1 day experience. So, my dear, one day a friend told me, hey, they have a teacher's fair somewhere in town, probably around Decatur. And we lived in Loganville. So, my dear, I didn't know the way to that place. At that point, I hadn't got my driver's license. My husband passed his own. I didn't pass. So, I thought my husband would take me. That day, they were playing this soccer match. The guy was like, hey, no, have I already got my license? Probably I have. I believe I may have, but, I wasn't driving on the highway. I was still like driving within town, okay, I think. So that day, he was like, hey, just do your map quest. There was nothing like GPS that time. Do your map quest and start going. Go and find the place. I told him, hey, at least take me once, then I can now figure out how to go. He said it's not possible. So, my dear, I printed map quest. I didn't know I needed to print coming home map quest. I printed the going. My intention was, is it not the same road you used to go, you should use to come, right? And by then, when you talk of east, west, north, and south, for me, I'm talking about me individually, I don't know about others. In Nigeria, nothing challenged my brain to be talking about you are driving on a road, you're moving east, you're moving west. I only know it on paper when we do as the crow flies, when we do those directions you draw. I was so good at it in geography and in mathematics, okay, on 2D. But in real life, in spatial space, man, my brain is not good with direction, or it was not good. I think I'm a lot better now because of GPS. I believe it's people like me that made them to invent that thing called GPS. So your sister started going to this job fair, okay? On my way, the exit I was supposed to take, okay? I was looking at the map quest. They said, take an exit to Decatur. I was looking for the exit, that sign. My goodness, do you know what happened? I don't know if I blinked or I looked down or what. I just missed it. So by the time I realized that I had passed the exit, I done waka pass. And that map quest, once you make a mistake in your direction, I don't know, you have to turn around or something. That was where I confused myself. I turned around. I didn't know where I was again. I entered one gas station to go and ask questions because that's how we used to do that time. Gas stations, most times they have maps there. When I got there, luckily for me, a guy, an African American guy who was, in gas stations, they have stores, right? He was paying for something he bought in that gas station. So when he heard me telling the cashier that I was lost, he said, oh, I know where that is. I'll take you to where it is. So this guy now took me to where I drove behind him and he took me directly to where that job fair was. On getting to the job fair, feeling funky with my life, I didn't understand that, man, in as much as I was a teacher in Nigeria, who told me I would qualify to be a teacher here? Not like I shouldn't, but there are other things I needed to do. I still have to take a certification, that teacher's certification. I still, some of that, you don't just come from one African country and come here and situate yourself in any job you want. So they started asking me hard questions like, so are you going to be able to teach the children with songs? I was like, which kind of question be this? I have never taught mathematics with song. But what they meant is like timetable that we used to memorize 2 times 1, 2. You need to figure out a song that matches, how you can teach the children with songs so that it could make their learning easy. I didn't know. I wish there was something like YouTube. Right now, YouTube is there. I could just go to one YouTube video, look up alphabet song, maybe ABC song or 1, 2, 3 song or, sight word songs and all that. So at the end of the whole thing, I finished interviewing with the few spots that I saw there. It was now time to go. I didn't know where I was. Now, in my heart, this is me thinking like somebody who has mathematical sense. I said, okay, that means if the map said east while you were coming, then you have to do west when you're going. But that's not how big expressway, freeways work. They don't work that way, my dear. Hey, I didn't know if to go left or right when I came out on that road. I was confused, to be frank. Hey, I said, okay, let me just start driving. I started driving. I just could not make out where I was. I was lost. Let's put it that way. I was lost, okay? Then I started driving. And in my purse, and luckily for me, my brother's car, he fueled that car, he put gas in that car, and it was full tank. The only money I had in my pocket on that day, I think, was a $10 bill. I don't know, that was it. I started driving home. Even if somebody called me, I called my husband, I told him, I don't know where I am. I don't even know. Now if you say, come and find me, I didn't know where I was. I started heading out, hoping to find myself on the express, on the freeway. Next thing I saw, CNN on my left. and I didn't want to enter a freeway I didn't know, so I wanted to do a U-turn. The only direction I could go was to enter that CNN. Before I could say Jack Robinson, there were 3 cars behind me. And you know, when you start entering those kind of gate, places that have that you pay for parking ticket, is one way. So as long as 3 people were behind me, there's no how I can tell them, oh God, please move back. I was only trying to do a U-turn. No, I had to start moving. I had to go into that CNN park. I got there. I now stayed a little, turned around to leave, thinking it's just coming and go. On leaving, there was a Somalia guy at the gate. I told the guy I was lost. I wasn't coming here. Can you just allow me to pass? The guy said, no, you have to pay for parking. No, I said, oh, I'm finished. Parking, which money? I didn't even realize I even had that $10 I had. I said, how much is the parking? He said $10. I said, I don't have any money on me. The guy insisted, though, that I must pay. If not, I'll remain there. I was like, hey. So luckily for me, I carried that $10, gave him. My journey has not started, though. My journey has not started. I now found myself on the freeway. How I got there, Chineye doesn't know. I started moving. And this is that ring road in Georgia. I knew that our exit was on that highway. I think it's highway 249. I don't remember. That one that just goes around. You'll be seeing exits to every part of Georgia. I don't remember. If you live in Georgia, you can put the name of that highway that connects Decatur everywhere in the, like, it's just a ring road. If you keep driving around it, you'll make a circle. Do you know how many times I circled around that freeway? I went around that circle. When I start coming to a place that is familiar to me, maybe places that we pass when we are going to church or somewhere, I'll say, hey, this place looks familiar. Before I know it, I'll pass the exit. When I'm looking for my exit, if I had known I could have taken familiar exits that I knew, then, from there, inside, I'll take and reach my house. But I'll be there looking for my particular exit. I ended up passing the thing. I kept going. My gas was going down. When I did that, when I circled that road again, I now found myself in Snellville exit. I now went in there and found myself at the African store where we buy things, and now stopped there. I think by then my phone may have died or something, or whether I didn't even I remember to take the phone. I can't remember the story, but when I got to that African store, that was when I called my husband. I now know where I was. Okay. The man was at home, pissing on himself, blaming himself. Why? Because I was there begging him. I told him I couldn't go. I didn't know my way. Let him take me for the first time, then I can figure it out. He insisted I should go. So he was now feeling guilty. Who does he tell? My brother wasn't in town, okay? He traveled for work again. So he wasn't really there to tell him what to do. And I had the only car in the house. So he was dying. He was like, who should he call now to tell that that I was lost? He didn't know. So after resting in that our African store, and I entered back into my car and found my way home, because I knew my way from that store to the house. On getting to the house, he came to hug me. I just pushed him aside, went straight to bed. I laid down. This was what was in my head. That's the only thing I was seeing myself driving, because I had never in my life driven that quantity of distance in my entire life. Hey, so that was how your sister found herself in CNN that she never planned to go to. Yes, so it's not easy. And eventually I didn't get that job. Nobody called me back. That was when it dawned on me, man, we needed to, start somewhere before we start looking big. And that was actually where I decided, hey, you know what? If I really have to go to school to be a teacher, why not go to school to do something higher or something that pays better? I don't know. Because when I was a teacher in Nigeria, my husband didn't really like it. He said he didn't like teaching. It's not as if he was saying like he doesn't like how teachers bring their work home. That most times that teachers, they don't know how to work and their job ends at home. They will come home. Either they are marking scripts, or they are making lesson notes, or they are still thinking, they are so occupied. They are talking to them. They're absent-minded because they're thinking about what they're supposed to do in school the next day. And I agree with him, because that was actually how the kind of teacher I was. I was obsessed with teaching, that I was always thinking about my teaching, and every other thing that I was doing, it was occupying my mind that much. So I was like, okay, let me try and do something else, that the work ends at work and you come home and you focus on home. So I'm going to stop here. Please bear with me. I'm saying all this is from my head. I'm remembering them, and I'm hoping that I'll keep remembering more. Okay? Bye bye. Have a blessed day.